Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
Hi.
Welcome to episode.
Sweatshop.
Oh yeah, the sweatshop. Welcome to episode
Yes.
sweatshop. Episode 29 of the APE Audio Podcast. We're here hanging out with.
Shy Harry.
Shy Harry.
Would you fellas like to introduce yourselves?
So that's us.
That is us.
How shy are you?
We're all quite shy, actually. I
Perfect.
think, on a scale of
You
1
guys
to
are
10.
built for this medium.
like-
Yeah, this is gonna be great.
We're like a second
super
shy.
stoked.
Well, yeah. Why don't you introduce all yourselves?
remember?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You go first, Eric.
All right. Well, I'm Eric. Yeah.
Cool.
I do guitar and singing.
Nice.
I'm Ryan. I play drums in the band Shy Harry.
I'm Cam. I play keys and I sing some stuff.
New guy.
New guy.
alert.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
can.
new guy.
And I'm Grant, and I play bass and occasionally sing
Nice.
Cool.
backups.
Well, it's nice to meet y'all.
Nice to
Thanks
meet
for
you.
coming by.
You guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's nice to meet the three of you. Grant and I go back a little ways.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Your
Why don't
brothers.
you
Tell a
us
bit about
that
your little history, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're just two shitheads that, we don't have to get into it.
Yeah, we do.
Yet.
Well, you've already opened the can.
Yet.
Okay. So I know Grant from Wilfrid Laurier University, where I joined a fraternity, Sigma Chi.
Ooh.
Nice.
Brothers for life.
Brothers for life. Yeah, we're tied. We're tied now.
Yep.
So we both got beat down with the wooden paddles and
All that stuff.
messed around with those
first
cute
year.
goats.
Good heavens.
Those cute goats. Is there any other kind of goats?
True.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm sweating already.
It's hot in here, fellas.
Hot
I
as
won't
shit.
lie to you.
Fuck. Should we open the door?
It's getting a little steamy.
Should probably open the door.
It is.
Yeah, we'll pop her
toast.
open. If anybody walks by, just
Say hello.
just make sure to glance
It's
at
gonna
them.
be a-
Actually, no, we
and
won't say
leer.
hi because we're pretty shy.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a long
yeah.
summer for our guests. Do you guys have any advice for staying cool?
Stay cool.
It never existed, guys. Yeah, it was nice to see.
Staying cool. in
Winter
the
ended.
summertime. Don't play drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good start
He
to
always
that.
smells the worst out of everyone in the band.
Great. Can we just get a smell real quick?
Just a waft.
I came from work, okay? I stink a little, fellas.
A little. Yeah.
Oh man.
So do you dudes want to get right in the music right off the bat, or
Whatever you
Lead
say.
the
And
way,
you
man.
driver.
okay?
Lead the way.
Okay. So I hear the name Shy Harry
Yeah.
comes from Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Where did you hear
Who
that?
told you that?
I heard it on the
Oh,
streets.
I
On
might
the
know
streets? Oh man, there's a whole other story for that.
Well, hit me with it.
I mean, okay, Cam, you know this one. Cam just joined in, so Cam's been hearing this story lately.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah. So, I would love to hold the mic. Yeah, this is weird. So yeah, this was told to me when I joined, but apparently there was a time where the guys were gonna experiment with a chai latte. It was the first time.
All three of
What
us.
do you mean
Yeah.
experiment with
sharing
a
one?
Well, they had never had.
I've never done anything like this before.
I know, right?
We were trying to get a new sound, so we thought chai latte might.
This was
Influencer
pre-name
in
of
it.
the band. too.
Oh, okay.
So we hit a Starbucks for the first time ever.
Yeah, and they all go in and they all order chai lattes. Whatever. So they all try it and they have a sip. Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Grant goes, yeah, it's pretty good. And he has a sip and goes, what the? He pulls something out of his mouth. It's a hair. And so chai with hair turned into Shy Harry.
Nice.
And I mean, that's what they told me. I don't know.
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the greatest stories of band names come from coffee shops, I think.
come from
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah,
shops.
that's
And they're
about
all
as epic
true.
as it gets.
Yeah. Where'd you hear the Lord of the Rings thing?
Yeah, that's bogus.
From Jeremy. So I was like,
From Jeremy.
yeah. I was like, I was
Fucking
flipping
Shout out
through.
to Chastity.
I was flipping through your Instagram trying to see if there's any weirdo moments or anything embarrassing that I can bring up. And I get to the very beginning and I'm like, I fucking know that guy. Jeremy, what the hell? So I sent him a quick message. I'm like, hey, I'm having Shy Harry on the podcast tomorrow. Were you in the band? And he's like, oh yeah, man, fuck, that's awesome. And I was like, well, give me some juicy details
Yeah.
that I can bring up. And he was like, oh, I think the name's from Lord of the Rings, so you should probably ask about that. So did he just completely pull that out of his ass?
Oh,
I've never
Jeremy.
heard anything about
Good old
that.
Jeremy, eh, Grant?
Good old Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Jeremy's always a clever one.
yeah. Okay.
Funny story about Jeremy. I sold him that kit that he's been touring with. That
Oh,
Bloom
really?
Apex kit. That was mine. That was the first like good kit I ever bought.
Do you miss it?
I miss it.
Yeah.
I do miss it.
Well, it might be coming back around. I think I have him convinced to come play some shows at Harmony Lunch here.
Oh, nice.
That would be sick.
He misses the kit. We miss Jeremy.
Mhm.
Jeremy? He's
So
a
I'm just
friend
kidding.
of mine in university, man. That's-
Jeremy was
I
a
met
good
him
drummer. He was very quiet and reserved. Now we got this guy.
Unloud and obnoxious.
You guys
Oh,
just got a polar opposite.
I feel like we've picked on you already 3 times.
We love Ryan.
That's okay. We'll pick on someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we'll
get
pick
one
on
break in
someone else.
rotation,
Yeah,
and you
that's
can do it again.
No more picking on Ryan.
Let's pick on these guys.
Yeah,
pick on
That's
us.
a-
Roast us. Let's go.
The roast.
I'm ready. I'm
I
ready.
didn't do it.
We're already roasting in here, anyways.
It's true. And you have
Yeah.
barbecues on your shirt.
Yeah, I think it's making it hotter for me, to be totally honest.
Man. Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about the origin of the band a little bit? So I
Sure.
heard it's from
Yeah.
you and Jeremy filling in for the pilot project, which is
Yes.
Grant's other band.
That's very true. We did a show at the Fiddle and Firkin in Preston, Cambridge, and Grant was supposed to be there with Pilot Project, and now Ryan's in Pilot Project. Everything's messed up, man. Okay, so
Lots of mingling.
yeah,
Basically,
every
we have
band
two
changed.
bands
Yeah.
with 2/3 of the same members that are me and Grant.
Yeah, there's one flip member in each.
Yeah, so at the
But-
time Ryan wasn't in Pilot Project, but the Pilot Project had a show. No one could make it except Grant, so Grant needed people to fill in, so they called up me and Jeremy. Then the 3 of us jamming together were like, we sound amazing. So we were like, we sound so good. So we were like, let's do this again. And then we just kept performing together, and then eventually I know I sat down with Jeremy and showed him some of the songs I'd been writing. And he's like, well, why don't we try this as like a trio? And then we just had some fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is also funny because that's how Pilot Project was born too, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we had...
were like, we sound okay.
Jeremy actually played a show as Pilot Project, and he played bass. And Jeremy's a drummer, and he's like, I can figure this out.
And the rehearsal was here. It was in this very building.
Oh, interesting.
It was.
So that's where I
Fucking
met
weird.
Grant.
Yeah.
Was
Full
in that
circle.
Really
parking lot
strange.
out there.
How cool is that? The
That's
most-
pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
I feel like it must have just been like a coincidence of timing where I never saw you, because I definitely saw Jeremy here
Yeah.
a bunch of times where I'd be like just kind of standing in the parking lot and he'd be like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.
How long have you guys been in this building? Then?
So these guys rent this studio. I just come freeload here all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Freeloader.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll let it slide. But yeah, we've been here for like 6-ish years.
Oh, wow. Right on.
6,
So your
7.
band, your band jams in here or something?
Yeah.
We do
So
the band jams.
yeah, we do the band jams and
Band jams.
You guys pretty much
I
make
don't-
the same kind of music.
Yeah.
What kind of music
Extremely
is that?
progressive metal.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
some prog
right
metal,
here.
you know.
It's now, yeah.
Pretty. Some there's some parallels there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
a lot of
Cancer.
similarities.
That's my wheelhouse. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I never paid attention to anybody in the other rooms, so I never.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but that's so weird that
'cause
we're
you
all
were
from the
louder.
same place. We all come from the same
Yeah,
home
isn't it?
base.
It's
Cut
beautiful,
from
really.
the same cloth.
Wasn't
Yes.
there some other band we had on too that had like rented in here? Or
No, I
like,
think you're talking about Jacob, where they rented the same studio.
oh, the old studio. Right.
Grand,
Yeah,
does
small
Grand
world.
Formats? What they're there in Toronto mostly now, right?
Grand formats?
Grand Format used to rehearse here. Maybe did they share a room with Jeremy over there?
Maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, they were definitely in this
In this building. Yeah.
for sure.
I think
They're
the
from
room
local
next
fun.
to here is like a big melting pot, right? Like there's like dozens of bands that just kind of share
There's
one
about
room.
like 3 or 4 different musical acts that rent the space. And I don't know how you guys feel about like sharing your space with somebody else. I mean, if it's your friends in bands, like cool, but sometimes it's just like the more people you throw in the mix is just like
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that a few times
Yeah.
in my life.
I-
Shared band halls.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, I've never really done it before. I think I'm just
The idea
you know.
sketches me out.
Yeah, the idea is kind of like, oh man.
Unless you own a space, it's really
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
find somewhere
Yeah.
to jam because
True.
people are like, it's noisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did an episode a couple weeks ago where
No, we didn't.
we just got drowned. Yes, we did. How do you not remember that?
Sorry.
We were just getting drowned out by like one of the bands next door. Like they usually never show up while we're recording. Just
Yeah.
on this fateful day, they decided to come in and
Do you think that microphone should be higher?
Yeah, why don't you raise that microphone a little bit?
Bring that.
Look at me.
Fist
Why don't
from
you,
your
yeah, why don't you
Basically
erect?
kissing
Yeah,
on-
you gotta.
Ryan's gonna start singing too.
I
Actually,
figure
now you
Adam
mention
would have yelled at me if it
microphones.
sounded like shit.
It's true. He is.
Ryan's
Okay.
Adam checked.
So when are you guys gonna start singing? Is this?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to me here,
All right.
fellas. So, Eric, lead singer. Grant, always done backup vocals. This guy, new addition to the band,
Hey.
went to Berkeley for his
Has the
voice
best
box.
voice.
Really
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. Jeez.
And me, as you can tell by my speaking voice, I
Is the
can't
best
sing
singer of all of us.
very well.
I don't
But-
agree.
Sounds like you're hiding something.
That's a
Yeah.
No. These guys convinced me to sing a little bit of backups on the new track.
Mm-hmm.
But we also convinced a few other people
To
who
join
can't
in.
sing too. There's like a gang
few
vocal
other people?
session.
Oh,
Our
cool.
goal is that
Yeah.
this like breaks
Just
the
pick
ice.
some vagabonds
Yeah,
off the
that's
street.
we, kind of.
That's
this is where our goal is that it leads Ryan into always having a mic and then getting into some 4-part harmonies.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're kind of kicking him into the frying pan a little
Yeah.
bit.
Trial
That's
by
true.
fire.
Yeah.
Like we
for
just
sure.
have to have a kill switch for between songs, because Ryan chimes in.
My witty banter is perhaps too witty.
It's going right over their heads. That's really funny. Are you comfortable with it?
Singing or
Yeah.
speaking in between songs?
Singing. Let's go with singing.
Singing? Yeah, I can do it. Like if I'm behind the drums, I feel confident enough, that I'm playing my parts and stuff. So throwing singing into the mix adds like that other challenge, I guess.
Having to coordinate stuff.
I've done it for a couple gigs now, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I especially like the in-between songs moments.
So the magic happens, right?
That's where the magic
Yeah.
for sure happens with my voice.
Inspiration kicks in.
But
Oh.
no, it's okay. It's getting me out of my comfort zone a bit.
Sure.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So you guys are working with Zach Gerber,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Are you doing a whole record with him, or is he just like helping engineer like little bits and pieces, or what's the deal over there?
Good question. Like we probably we'll be doing a full record with Zach. We our last album we did half it in Halifax at the Sonic Temple, and then half of it it was so cool, and then half of it at Catherine North in Hamilton. So it was kind of cool, and even in some ways the two different studios gave like a neat element to the album. You can almost hear the sound differences.
You can.
But with Zach though, like it's kind of cool because he's based out of my studio where we all teach, and so it's right there at home, so you can kind of play with it a bit more. And Zach's a good buddy, so we probably will end up putting out this single and then maybe doing a couple other singles, then putting it all together and adding a bunch of other tracks, putting out a full album. And I imagine we do that all with Zach, but you never know, we might randomly do a song somewhere else just for fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Can I ask where Cam came from? Where did you find him?
Where the hell did you come from?
Tell them where you came from, boy.
When a mommy and a daddy really love each other.
I'm not ready for this. I gotta go.
No, where did I come from? Well, I was teaching at the studio at the school
Right.
for a while, and then
You guys are so cute.
I had sort of. How did that go? I jumped in on a couple shows here and there, sort of randomly, after Yestermind was released, and then we did a few shows. Like we did one in Toronto. Jumped in on a couple, and then it just sort of came to be like, hey, do you want to be an actual member in the band instead of a random guest singing? I was like, yes, 100. Yeah, let's
Cool.
do that.
Dope.
And I feel like Ryan has something awesome to say.
Like I said
As
before,
always.
this guy went to Berkeley for his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, he plays every instrument under the sun. So he was
Even
a
the
commodity.
hurdy-gurdy?
He was a commodity that we couldn't afford.
The
to lose
hurdy-gurdy.
out on.
Is that what it's called? The hurdy-gurdy?
I think
The
so.
hurdy-gurdy.
The crank one?
Do you play
I
the
think so.
hurdy-gurdy?
I've never tried.
That one chick shreds on it.
Yeah.
I think she does Lamb of God covers on it.
I've never
That's
heard
so
of
Really?
Hurdy.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Lamb of
Hurdy-gurdy.
God on a
you
meat
have one?
hurdy-gurdy.
Oh
Yeah, it's right
shit!
there.
I've been playing this
Sorry.
instrument in a video game for like the past
I don't
week.
think of it. Looks kind of like a weird lute. I've
Yeah.
never played it.
That's
So you like
a
crank the
hurdy-gurdy.
bottom,
Try
right?
it.
You crank the
Yeah.
bottom.
I think you crank the bottom and then.
It's like a
That's not-
strange
that's not what I was
violin.
picturing at
Yeah.
all.
No, me neither. But I would try that.
That's a hurdy-gurdy,
Yeah.
dirty.
Never heard a
That's for
hurdy.
my-
Hi,
that's for my
Jordan.
buddy later.
That's hi, Jordan.
That's a hurdy-gurdy, dirty.
Dirty.
Well, I want to
man.
ask, like, what made you want to do vocals specifically at Berkeley? Like, out of all, because, like, since
Yeah.
you can play, like, a lot of instruments, what made you just want to...
That's a fair
vocals.
question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray. May I? Oh, thank you so much.
Hopefully we got
Please,
fair
Yeah,
answer.
good question. The voice was when I was a little kid. So like last week when I was still about this tall, I started to sing, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool," because I'm the instrument, and then I wanted to just pursue that.
What were you singing?
Oh
like,
man!
what were you starting to sing? Like, what was...
When I went to audition for Berkeley, I was singing Everything Under the Sun. I really liked like City and Color.
Oh, okay, cool.
The songwriter vibe at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I just pursued it.
And you're just like I want to...
I want to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, if he can do that, I would like to try and do that.
Oh, cool.
So that's what I went for.
Cool.
And then he goes, okay, but like the bands you were in,
Okay.
not
All
quite
right,
City
okay.
and Color.
So fair point. So I've always had a thing for metal too, like
Cool.
modern metal, and City and Color Dallas Green. It is in Alexis on Fire, which is a pretty rock and roll band.
Yeah, they're pretty...
They've
My
got
favorite
some
band of all time. Just
Really?
to say. Yeah, I think so.
Did you catch their
Big
show the other night?
so
No.
cool.
Some
Put out
fan.
an album. Put out an album, and then I'll go
True.
see you again.
True.
Fuck off with these 2 singles. I like the first single, but anyways, I digress. Go ahead.
You heard it here first. We're waiting for another album, I guess. But yeah, I was always into that, and the thought of someone being able to sing clean stuff and then shriek their face off, and then call their mom at the end of the night or call their girlfriend at the end of the night and not have a blown out voice and do that every night for a living, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So I was in a couple prog metal bands when I was in school,
Cool.
and
Want to name some of them?
yeah, Emissivity, which I think is no longer rocking and rolling.
Cool.
They were pretty rad. We did a couple shows. Episodes, which is still going. And I was actually the villain in a metal opera, believe it or not.
That's badass.
Yeah, so my job was to
Right.
tour around Boston and Rhode Island and Massachusetts and just scream my face off for a couple hours every night. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
Oh,
dope.
that's so
Yeah.
fucking sweet.
Fits right in with Shy Harry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
For sure,
Totally.
for sure. Well, like, what kind of, like, does he bring a really different sound to the group that you guys haven't really, like, toiled with?
In one
Before?
of the songs, we've been going through like rehearsing older tracks because Cam was with us when we were tracking the new song.
Mhm.
But the last album, we've been going through it and just kind of getting Cam comfortable finding his own place in those songs. And one of the tracks, you start to scream on it,
Yeah, a
which is
little
kind
bit.
of cool.
Little bit.
Brings some intensity to the song.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Cool.
There's a one spot where there's a full on like screamy shaky part happening on top of Eric's lead. It's pretty cool.
That's rad.
Nice. What inspired it? Was it like just like for the sake of the song, like growing like intense, or was
Yeah.
it like a texture thing?
Yeah, it's
Or-
just
I think it's
yeah,
both.
it's Cam. Well, it's interesting. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Having Cam in the band is insanely intimidating because it's like we were recording when we were recording the vocals, I was like, man, but he's like a way better vocalist. So it was so like it was so good, helpful to have him there giving pointers,
Oh, yeah.
but then also like you just realize like there's this whole other potential that the band could have. And then when we were rehearsing the old tunes, there's this one song, Never Let Me Fall Away. I kind of yell at the end of the song, I yell the first verse again. And it's never been comfortable, but I've always felt it needed that. So if I do what I was normally doing, but then Cam yells it, then it just gives it way better intensity.
tosses it right over the top.
Yeah, it gives it what I was supposed to have,
Cool.
but was just never quite there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you guys are sort of like getting ready to start working on a record. Do you have like an idea or like a theme in mind for what you want it to be, or like what the logical progression from your previous record? What would you like it to be?
I think so. I think we're discovering that now.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like you have something to say. Go for it.
What was
Think
that?
of another concept album that we had started that I'm not going to mention.
Oh, please do.
Well, you
No, no,
already
no.
did.
Yeah, we love
We're gonna-
Nerd Note
we'll
on
come back.
concept
We'll cycle
records.
back.
We'll
We'll
come back.
cycle
Okay,
back.
But I don't know. It's interesting, like having Cam in the band now. Not only does he bring his voice, but he brings keyboards / organ we're using a lot,
Yeah.
and piano even in some of the more like progressive style songs we write. But we're finding it kind of difficult to decide on okay, what's going to be the dynamic here? Like what do we actually want to accomplish as a group now that it's the four of us, and now that we have like this other element? Like before, we've been like, it's been groovy, it's been like rock and roll at points, but now even adding him to the old songs, like, or not the old songs, like we just put out Yes or Mind like in January or whatever, but October, sorry.
Yeah, October.
Yeah, timelines are fucked. But just adding him to the old songs for these last few rehearsals that we've had has been like, whoa, like we sound different even on these other tunes.
For sure.
So it's very much going to be an experimental process, I think. Like, I think we're just going to have to dive in together, as we always have with writing and the creative process musically, and we'll just see what comes out of it. But, you know, we have ideas.
Yeah,
And,
Cool.
like,
It seems very
as
much.
long as it has a good groove, I think we're down.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, it has to have a groove. Like, even the new song, like, I was showing a buddy of mine the song, and he was like, it's cool because it sounds like Shy Harry. Like, it sounds like your sound that we've kind of found a pocket in it, but it's more intense, and that's partially because of the organ and the keys that are brought in, and like the numerous layers of vocals now. But then also, we just deliberately wrote something that drives a bit more, and I think we want to do more of that. Like, I think we're excited to write a rock album.
Cool.
That's got a little bit more intensity and less of just like the moody, almost bluesy tunes.
Sure.
I think we want to make something that's a bit noisier, but not
Yeah.
not necessarily like, I don't know, wildly different from who we are, but just definitely upping it to more of just good old fashioned rock and roll.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so you guys had sent the track over to us.
Yeah.
I don't know if these guys had a chance to check it out, but I checked
sure
it out
did.
earlier today. And it's definitely like a much bigger, fuller, produced kind of sound going on, where like previous Shy Harry maybe sounded like we're inside like a little pub or like a saloon
Yeah,
or
so
something. It's like,
it's laid back.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It sounds like the stakes have kind of been heightened a little
Yeah.
bit, if that makes sense.
Want to
sure.
run with that.
And from a production standpoint, like, I don't know if I can speak for these guys, but for myself, I think I was down for a little bit more of a, not produced sound, but something that was a little less like organic and live off the floor. Like, we've always been really keen on recording live off the floor, everything like, okay, this is our best take as a group, then we add vocals later. But as the three of us, as musicians, like, we wanted to shoot for something that was as feel driven as possible. Whereas this song, it was the first time we recorded all individually.
Oh, cool.
Like, I've had experience with that in the past, as I'm sure these guys have too. But for this Shy Harry song, like, this is the first one where it's like, okay, bed track, drums, bass, keys,
Yeah.
guitar, lead guitar parts, vocals.
Yep.
And it came together in such a way that we're like, shit, maybe we should do this more often. Like, maybe we can polish these tunes a little more if we do it this way. But at the same time, we've always vibed really well as a group. So we love that organic sound, so we don't want to overproduce it too much.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
How do you think you'll find the middle ground with that?
I think we almost. I think with this new tune we kind of did.
We did.
Yeah.
Like
We
we
did.
Totally.
we decided we would take turns, but we'd still do full takes. So like you still take a full good feeling take.
Mhm.
You're not necessarily going to do a bunch of splicing and like taking this section and this section and this section. Like it was still like I think I ran the guitar line 3 times,
Well,
and we just took the favorite of the 3 times.
yeah, and that being said, when I recorded my drum parts for this tune, Eric, instead of laying a bed track, he just played along with me to the click,
Oh, cool.
and that was fucking. I love that.
That was
Like,
cool.
That felt really
I
good.
forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was
instead
good.
of laying it down and just having it like, oh, like it's kind of wishy-washy, like it might not be the best take as a, but you need a good bed track.
Yeah.
But to have him playing it live with me with the click,
You guys are locked in together, so
Yeah, there's a
man,
bit more energy
it
to
felt-
it, right?
That's
it
awesome.
took me a few takes, but after a few, it felt
Yeah, it
just
felt really
perfect.
good. Yeah.
That's rad.
we rolled with it.
Yeah.
So the single cover looks pretty ferocious.
Oh yeah.
What's going on with that?
Oh man.
It's cool where that came from.
Okay. Do you want to go on that,
Take it.
Ken?
I mean, I'll start it off. So, when we were all discussing it as a team, like, what are we gonna do for the art here? There was a lot of, I mean, as always, when you have a team of something, like, there's back and forth, right? Like, well, we need this, we definitely don't want this, whatever. And then it sort of boiled down to, hey, Eric said, my cousin can insert all this huge list of talents here. And we're like, okay, sweet. And so he fired off a couple of renditions, I guess you could say. And there were a couple that we looked at, and the one that we ended up going with is the one that he made. And it was very much a group decision still, but a lot of it came from Eric's cousin. So I'm going to throw it that way.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was
He did our
very
first
like
one too.
yeah, he did like so his name's Nathaniel, and he did well, there's another Nathaniel that produced our first album. But and we still work with him all the time. But so my cousin Nathaniel actually designed our logo. He, like the lettering for Shy Harry that we've used in like a lot of different things. And it's on our original album cover. He designed it, like hand drew it. After a few years of using that logo, it had like things that were limiting, and like it's very thin. When you try to put it on a t-shirt, like it doesn't really work well. So we were like, okay, it's time for like we're adding a new member to the band. We're writing a single with like a whole other instrument. We're deliberately pushing a bit more of a rocky sound. Let's also switch up the logo. Let's do things differently. Let's get new art. So he just kind of ran with it, and after a lot of chat, we came up with like ideas. So what he did for the single art is like, it's very much for the single, but then there's like a more evolved, polished version of that we're looking to use as like inspiration for the full album art. But it's a little bit more gritty, and even like color wise, when you look at our last album and this, we inverted the colors pretty much. So it was like an orange background with like ink, like black lines for the detail. This is the other way around. It's a black background with like this gold orange line work. So it was just kind of cool, but a little bit more raw. But it's kind of just like a stepping stone into what the actual art will be.
Dope. I dig it, because I was actually going to ask like what's your rollout plans for the tracks going forward were kind of going to be. So it's kind of dope that you guys are doing like sort of like a brand refresh, I suppose.
Yeah.
New logo on the way too, which
Cool.
is really cool.
Well, yeah, that artwork looks dope.
Thanks,
So-
man.
It does. Like you said, edgier for sure for us. Like, I think it's a big thing. Like, we wanted, pushing the new sound, pushing the new music, a little bit edgier. But I think what the plan is with the Wild One kind of artwork that he did is for the next couple singles that we put out, we'll kind of match that style.
Mhm.
And then when we put out the album, it'll form like one cohesive kind of image
cool.
that follows the same kind of theme or the same kind of motif, which I think we're all pretty stoked on. Like, it's it's edgier for us, right? Like,
Yeah. It's definitely like a step in like a slightly different direction, but
It
it's like
is.
something you all kind of got to get used to together. So it's kind of cool that
Yeah.
That's so true.
Well, and it parallels like the music that I think we're gearing towards writing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little more on that
Totally.
side of things.
It
I
got
think-
me excited. I looked at the artwork. I'm like, fuck yeah, this shit's gonna shred.
Yeah.
Man, well, I mean, I would say like kind of on that note, like as a writer, like I know like the first album was like very much like almost like just a brainchild of like just different journaling with writing, and the second album was still that lyrically in most ways, but then musically it was way more collaborative. It wasn't like, hey, here's this song I wrote. It was kind of like us working together on it. Then Wild One was like that on another level, where it's like, cool, I don't really feel the need to like bare my soul the way I used to. I don't know, like I don't know if it's just like that.
I
was
think
like
they just call that growing
I
up.
think it's growing up. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that was a great time in the 20s. But it was like
Album
it was
one.
it was this one
learning
was
to play
more
bass.
yeah.
Well, there's something to be
How
said
to play
about
this
going
thing.
your whole entire
notes?
life and you have to unleash that on like one project.
Yeah.
But now you guys are just going from that project to here, which is a much
Exactly.
shorter time span and maybe not so dramatic. and
Yeah, writing more
chaotic.
just deliberately about the art of
Right.
it. So I'm excited for that, I think. Yeah.
I'm still stoked on the artwork from the first two albums.
Oh man, yeah.
'Cause they're-
Oh, yeah, it
they're
looks great.
cohesive in that they're both kind of hand drawn, and Yes Your Mind is like, it still has that kind of goose image that we've pushed.
Were you gonna say motif again?
I was. I saw myself. My dad would be like, "You fucking said motif again. Why is he talking like that? Nerd."
Just start using Notion all the time.
Yeah, the notion.
The notion.
The
of-
notion. Yeah, the notion of it's because of the notion of yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I like what we've done, and I like what's coming.
Cool.
Yeah. You
So
guys all
that-
seem to be
it
embracing the change.
Yeah,
pretty well, so
it
it's
feels
cool.
really good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, like now that we have 4 vocalists, but then 3 very comfortable vocalists, like sorry. Sorry. I don't mean it like that. But it's also like you get those bands where like I've always sang lead on Shy Harry tracks. But like these guys have both sung lead in other bands, and Grant already is a lead guy in another band. It's like, man, let's also play around with that. Maybe let's play around with like hearing other voices and other things come out where it's like kind of just musically milking things further than just what we were doing before.
Milk it.
Milk it. Milk it.
Oh,
Musically.
man.
Milk us all
Oh my goodness.
into singing.
Oh, it's
Into
really
sing songs.
it's really fun being the old guy in the band.
It's took a very daring turn. I don't know if I feel about
How old are you, Cam?
25.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow, these are like group developments
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
to
yeah,
life.
No,
What's everyone's
I don't
middle
know,
name?
man. Yeah.
All right.
I just needed to ask because I was unsure.
I definitely want. I don't know. This is a little bit on the spot, but I definitely want Grant to sing a lead line on this album because he's
Grant
because
Gimple.
like he's just like he's really good.
It's true.
I don't know, so it'd be fun. But it's fun to mix it up now that we have like just that much more. Like I don't know,
like
things
unlocked.
to pull from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any videos coming down the pipeline? I saw you filming some drone footage maybe a couple months back or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked really dope. But I think it was only 3 of you walking around, and now there's 4 of you.
Yeah.
Does that footage become moot?
We did that for the song Yeats. So we did a big,
Okay.
like years ago, well, I guess like 3 years ago, we did a surprise rooftop concert, like a la Beatles, a la U2. Like we did
That was
like,
in
what was
Galt,
it?
right?
It was in Galt, yeah. So
Oh,
like,
cool.
it's our little baby. So there was this monthly event that we started up that's called Galt Love, and it's also like a social media movement of just like getting people out in the community. And we decided to use this really, really, really busy Galt Love night as a fun springboard for just randomly appearing on a rooftop and just playing some of our tunes. And it was fun.
I don't know what it is about a rooftop, but it made you
Right?
guys look legit as fuck.
Yeah. So it was.
That's why we did it again.
That's why we
How'd
did it
they get
again.
up there?
The one time.
That's
Twice.
why all of our videos are going to be on rooftops from now on.
Now on.
on the same fucking room.
Yeah. Oh man, we it's true, and it's become a thing because like we gained like thousands and thousands of views from like the candid roof appearance, and a lot of traction where people would be like, "You're that guy that we saw on the roof," and then and I'd be
Yeah,
like,
see, there's something
it's-
about the roof,
yeah.
boys.
Just to interject, what was the Beatles tune? We played that
all
night?
you need is love.
Okay.
It's true.
I
Yeah.
can speak for myself and say I completely butchered the timing in that. We were just like, I don't know. I'd have to hear the song to count it out officially.
The 3/4 version.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. When we started that fucking song, I was not on the same page as these fellas.
Oh.
Well, here's the
So we
thing.
just,
Here's
like,
the thing.
we tried to
Rooftop
emulate-
acoustics are really forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
Because
that's true because we tried to emulate the Beatles, but we just ended up like.
Oh,
Me
man.
personally, I was just like, wow, I am missing this in every bar.
and also because
Keep it
we
going.
because it was a surprise to the community, we couldn't like sound check it,
Right.
so we
Right.
couldn't hear each other. Like we
No,
could hardly
couldn't
hear each other.
We couldn't hear shit.
But,
we were
uh,
all spread out over this fucking rooftop.
So we did the video for the song Yeats on that same rooftop, but like much more. It wasn't a concert, but just a lot of just aerial footage. It was fun. And we even talked about another potential rooftop, 2 other potential rooftop ideas. But yeah, for Wild One, we want to do another video for sure. It probably won't be on a roof. I think we might need to let that one rest a little bit.
It's like on a helipad or something.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna make it wild. Right?
Well, just know it's preparing you to play at some of the crummier venues across Canada where you're not going to have any PA to listen to yourselves, and
Yes,
you're actually not
exactly.
going to be able to hear each other.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always
It
an
happens
adventure.
more often than
Then
we'd
you
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking for everybody.
So you dudes also did this cool little thing with the Galt Collective. You had like animated artwork like playing behind you guys.
Oh my goodness, Grant, do you want that one?
Yeah, no, that was super fun. They basically lined up. It was 5 animators.
Yeah.
And we did. So it was 3 shows back to back, but we did the same show each time and had a different audience. But they had projected these really cool animations behind us, and we had played with the projection going on to us. So they had kind of timed it. It was an interesting challenge because they had actually like timed it to a click, and we had to like be in time with these projections. Some of them were trickier than others for sure. Some of them were just like psychedelic blobs that were.
Or some of them
were
like in
sweet
the
looking,
pocket
but-
where like when you're looking, you're like, oh damn, like that's so.
Yeah.
You
There
know,
was
when you're
one-
playing
One
it,
of
and you're.
them, one
Yeah.
of them for Yeats, that song that we were talking about previously was a literal dancer
Yeah.
behind us. So he was
Oh, cool.
dancing to kind of the beat of the music.
Yeah.
I think it went pretty well.
It did. It
I
lined
didn't
up pretty
play to
well.
a click, but I had a visual cue. Like, okay, it was,
2,
I think
3, 4. Yeah. like
yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of
It was
thing.
like a bar, and it gave me like kind of the idea. And we played the songs a million times, so it was pretty straightforward. But for that song in particular, it was interesting because
Yeah.
I glanced back and I was like, oh, he's dancing kind of to us.
Yeah, it was kind of neat because like every time we did it, it got tighter, right? So we've talked with those guys because all those guys just did it as a cool project. A lot of them do work in like the corporate world, and they just approached us and chatted about how we could do this cool collaborative of like artists visually and artists musically, and like combining the two things. To just be this really cool experience. So you're watching a show, but you're not really watching the musicians. You're watching this thing that's created. And I think it would be fun. We've chatted further with them about like what if we did a full like concert like that, where it's one big like everything transitions into each other and it's like a full experience.
And what if they like focus their animations more in line with our music and like maybe what the story the song is trying to tell.
Right.
Like, I think if we had a little bit more time, like it was pretty like last minute.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was pretty last minute. We think maybe if we aligned it where they planned fully
Yeah.
to match the
Yeah.
themes of the song.
Well,
And
in
they all-
photo form, it looks fantastic.
It's pretty cool.
for sure,
It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
we were stoked on the content we got.
Yeah. Those guys were so cool, so talented, and they didn't work together, so each one was like wildly different.
Oh,
from the
cool.
other. Yeah.
So is like the art scene in Galt really thriving? I mean, I don't really get out that way too often.
We're
I would-
Well, this
working on it.
guy's
Yeah.
trying.
You guys single-handedly.
we're trying really hard, and Eric especially is at
Trying
the
to be-
forefront of
Trying to
the
be a.
of the creative
Trying to be a scene dad?
movement of golf, especially
Man.
with the studio that he runs and operates. Like he's organized Galt Love, which is
Yeah, that's really cool.
we've
Man,
mentioned,
thanks.
and
The
pushing
backlog
that
session.
backlog sessions,
Yep.
which are like a Wednesday night series that we do all through the
rocks
summer.
those.
Cool.
Grant does the sound there.
Yeah, it's
And
the
the
only
book
like
We're just
original,
pushing it, man.
Yeah.
the original scene in like recurring original scene that we know of, at least, unless if there's some other underground thing
Yeah,
developing.
exactly.
Doubt it.
Yeah,
Doubt
I
it.
don't know about that. Yeah, but it's that's kind of like the stipulation is like you have to write your own music to get on to play a show with this, right?
Mhm.
We don't just hire cover
Covers,
bands,
yeah.
which is a lot of the scene, right? Bars, they like to hire their band that can do 3 sets of tunes that people know, right? So we're trying to push the other side a little bit more, and just support like local musicians, and people that are writing, and we've had such an amazing response this year. Like we were fully booked, like May, I think we were fully booked by,
Yeah.
and it just runs for the summer, right? So
Has it already started?
it
Yeah.
started, yeah. It's every
Is it
Wednesday.
4 now?
Yeah, more even.
6?
I think, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had
There
some
you go.
rotten weather, which is unfortunate because it's actually outside, right? So it's on the patio of Monogram, and we like to have the sunny weather for everyone who plays, right? Because you get this street appeal.
Oh, you don't
right?
prefer the pouring rain?
No, we don't. Well, we have to move it inside. We still do it, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been really cool. We've had some really amazing acts come by, And yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season.
Sounds awesome. Can we
Sounds
go?
fun.
Can we take a field trip sometime?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Wednesday night.
It's cool.
Shout out.
6
here.
Oh, here comes Rye Guy with the shout out.
Yeah. I got a shout out to Matt Weidinger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Matt.
Matt Weidinger trio.
That guy's beautiful.
Absolutely killed the
What a
last
gem.
That's awesome.
He was two ago.
two backlog sessions
and then we,
ago.
Yes, and then
We
we had
had
Brighter Green.
Brighter Green from
Brighter
London.
Green
They
also
fucking
killed.
killed it too. Matt
Yeah.
Weidinger, man, I got like
Chills.
this innate love for.
Yeah, man.
I've been
Yeah.
listening to
beast.
his record like too much. To the point where my girlfriend and people I work with are like,
Concerned.
what
You
the
in love with this guy?
Yeah,
I have a
Just
pretty
like, man,
funny
I'm here to
story
this
about
guy.
meeting Matt Weidinger for the
Let's hear
first
it.
time. It was like, I don't know, maybe even before high school. No, I must have been just going into grade 9, and I was at some house party, and I was pretty drunk. And somebody like comes outside on the patio, and they're like, "Yo, you got to come in. You got to check out this dude just shredding the keys, man. It's crazy." So I just head in the house, and Matt Weidinger's just sitting on this old electric organ, just playing tunes by the Doors, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is awesome." So I start talking to him a little bit, and he's like, "Name a song." Name a song. I don't remember what it was. I just pulled some song out of my ass, and he just starts playing it immediately. And he's like, "You can keep doing that if you want. I'm basically just practicing. I don't really drink that much, so I'm just gonna kind of sit here all night and jam away." And I was just like pretty floored, like in my drunken euphoric state. But I'm standing there. I'm like, "Holy shit! Like this guy
Guy's a
is
legend.
yeah, man.
He really is.
Seriously,
His
yeah.
whole
He's-
trio
he's-
they're amazing.
He's really good though.
Yeah, they're all really good. His
Mhm.
album's really good. I recommend it.
Yeah, great songwriter.
I love that album so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
I
he's
already
great.
messaged him last week. It's like, "Hey Matt, like, just want to say,
Let's be friends.
Hang.
Do you want to talk to me, Matt?"
Do you know how many streams I've given you?
Fucking loser, Matt. But seriously though, I messaged him and I said, "Listen, man, like, I'm not gonna lie. I put your record on at every party we throw at the house,
It's true.
and pretty much every drive I go on for anybody who hasn't heard it before. And I love it.
That's
I really
great.
do love
Good
it.
dude.
Weidinger.
So you ever
Good
like in a
dude.
car with people and you're like, "Hey, you guys want to listen to something?" You guys are like, "Oh, I know what this guy's gonna put on."
You're like, oh, I got just the
Yeah.
thing.
We just finished listening to it.
Yeah.
You guys just listen to it?
No. I assume that's what the rest of your band's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say to you.
Well, you should bring him on the podcast.
Already dead.
He was on the podcast.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, we did an
Yeah.
episode
Oh,
with him. When we were finished up, he was showing us all his organs and keyboards and
They had
Oh,
them like
yeah.
loaded in his car. He like just
Clever.
picked up a couple.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
He was like taking
Some
to
new
somebody
stuff.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he had some like they were what's the one called where it has like the rotating
Hammond.
Oh, the oscillator.
yeah.
The rotary?
yeah, the rotary
Isn't it a Hammond?
is it a Hammond?
Is it?
Yeah, like a Hammond organ.
I don't even know.
I think so.
Matt, we need you.
Matt,
The
if you're hearing
whirly.
this, if you're here,
Matt.
we're
So
still listening.
ignorant to your skills and
Yeah.
gear,
God damn it, we
Matt.
did need the call in line.
Yeah, I think it's a Hammond organ.
It's cool.
There
though,
it might be rotary
Adam's
something.
just chomping
that's
out the
a picture of
bits.
some organs.
Yeah,
But
that's
he
an
did
organ.
reply to me. He said,
Leslie.
He said, "I'm
Oh,
so proud
Leslie.
of you.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said,
it's
"Leslie,
Leslie.
thanks so much."
Yeah.
So I was
Nice.
like,
That's way better than the
everyone
letter
who
K.
think I'm just like some fanboy. Like, I like this shit. I'm gonna message him.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I just finished reading like this comic book called Middle West. It's done by Scotty Young, the dude who does like Scott Pilgrim, and
yeah.
I just sent him a message like after I finished reading it, and I was like, "Yo, this is kick ass," and he's like, "Thanks, dude," and I'm like, "You're huge. Like I'm like an ant compared to you. Like you're not supposed to answer back."
Yeah.
You're supposed to ghost me.
Feels good,
Yeah.
man, connecting with mutual people who are doing the same thing you're doing.
Totally.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
That's a
having
good
him
thing.
play
It's
the
a good
backlot
feeling.
is great for us. Like, we want all kinds of artists. Like, to have a band like Brighter Green
Yeah.
come from London.
Mm-hmm.
They did an
Super
awesome
cool.
job. I love those guys.
I
What
can't
time
believe-
do those shows start at?
6 to 8
6 to 8, yeah.
every Wednesday.
That's pretty moderate.
Yeah.
It's-
I could go for that.
I feel like you can
Back
still make it
patio,
over bet.
Yeah,
have a
man.
coffee
Get some
at Monogram,
sunshine.
get
Well, that's my
some
big
food.
problem. I don't go out to a lot of shows during the week because they don't start until like 9:30. Like
true.
the band I want to see is not on until 11:30, and I was in bed since 7 o'clock already.
Oh man, it's been a cool evolution. Like starting the Backlog Sessions was pretty much just there's no original music scene in Cambridge, and then now it's our 5th season, and it's been so cool how every year it's kind of changed a little bit. Like now it used to be all in this upstairs room that's cool, like brick and beam, like all the stuff like that. now it's outside on the patio, and you get just all these people from the community just stopping by. There's a whole bunch of people who don't even know we organize it, and just come by because they think, oh, there's Wednesday night music, and they don't even follow on Instagram. Like, they don't know who's going to play. There's a lot of people in the community who now just know
That's
there's
amazing.
music outside
That's
on
awesome.
Wednesdays. It's every Wednesday from the beginning of May
It's
to
gonna be
the
May.
end of this September.
Somebody had to.
Yeah, and Grant does all the booking for that, so it's
Yeah.
cool. It's Grant kills that.
Grant
Gimple, man. Hey, actually, while we're at it,
Guy
guys,
started it.
Cat
though.
Luby, everyone.
Cat
Cat
Luby.
Luby. So
Cat
there's this girl who works with us in the
Absolutely.
studio, and every single
Absolute
time
gem.
we're trying to get this
Definitely
going.
listening.
Yeah,
100%.
man. Every time, hi Cat. Every time her name is mentioned,
Not even
Cat
sorry.
Luby, everyone. We keep
Not
trying to
even
do it to bigger and bigger audiences, and she's so like humble and quiet.
probably
She gets
have-
so embarrassed, so it's great. So we did it at a festival on Friday night. It was so much fun.
Cat Luby, everyone.
Cat Luby, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Cat Luby.
Good people.
Yeah,
Nice to
Good
get you.
people.
yeah.
Jeez, man.
Are you sweating on me right now?
Dude,
Dude, if it wasn't for this hat, I'd be a fucking mess right now.
Yeah.
buddy, I came from like, yeah, I came from work. Look at
Oh,
Show-
nice.
show the
Look at the mop on
Yeah,
this guy.
that's
Look at the
hot.
salad.
That's
Wow.
nice.
Greasy.
that sweet lettuce.
Sorry, Mom. If you're listening, love you. Love you later.
Oh man,
That was kind of weird.
That's a
It's like a
weird
weird
thing to
turn.
say
No,
to your mom.
I just
Yeah, that's okay.
I like my
That's okay.
parents. Yeah, so,
A healthy, normal amount.
healthy and
Don't we all? Don't we all?
So, did you guys all suffer a great heartbreak when the Kiwi closed down?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, missed that place.
Yeah, I heard it was your old stomping grounds.
We
Absolutely
played there
gutted.
1,000 times.
Yep.
Oh man,
Quite the
Oh
time.
yeah.
we played there so many times. Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. It's I think a lot of people in town missed it. We
Mhm.
need another late night spot for sure, with live music all the time.
Well, maybe you guys can spearhead that, or at least the bookings for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
There's something in the
something in the-
there's whispering in the wind
There is.
that there might be something going on there.
Well, now you gotta tell everyone.
It's
In the pipeline.
I think it's a top secret thing.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Might open
But we
up again.
we might know. We might know.
It might open up again.
Maybe
Might,
a
it might.
business will go there.
We
Yeah.
might.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're not involved directly. But
Oh.
But-
I heard nothing. Neither did the people listening.
Moving on.
Yes.
Saw a
I
guy
lost.
play
I don't know
guitar
what
with a
just
kiwi
happened.
the other day.
R.I.P.
I don't know what did I just miss? There's a big secret.
You said you saw a guy play guitar with a kiwi.
With a kiwi.
So he was using the kiwi as a pick, or was he like
Or like a
fretting with the
slide.
kiwi?
He was like slapping the guitar with a kiwi.
Oh wow.
Was it just like
Kiwi
beat up by
slap.
the end? It was just like
Dude,
this
it was
deflated
so stupid.
thing.
He
Yeah.
was playing. I think he was playing Back in Black.
Wow.
With a
With a
kiwi.
kiwi.
Did
The
he
kiwi.
eat the kiwi after?
You
I-
can totally do that with a
I
kiwi.
don't know.
You could absolutely
you
do
can
that.
eat the skin.
I don't know about that.
You can.
You can.
You
You
can.
can.
All right.
It's good
You
for
can.
Don't
you.
have to snap
Yep,
at
I've
me.
seen it.
Everyone, calm down.
Everybody
Oh.
just
You
chill
wanna
out.
You can eat
okay?
a kiwi like an apple,
You want
friend.
to eat like hairy.
Technically, you can eat anything with the
leather.
skin on it. If you have
Technically,
the
you can eat
willpower.
anything like
You
an
can
apple.
eat a potato with the skin on it
Technically.
if you want.
I suppose,
Anything with
yeah.
the skin.
sounds
I'm gonna
delicious.
draw a line right
Everybody eats potatoes with the skin on it.
Like-
you ever had a baked potato?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Evan had a raw potato at dinner the other night. When
Why?
we went out to
Did he eat it like an
Boathouse.
apple?
Boathouse.
That was
yeah.
like a month ago.
That was the other night.
Oh, are we shit talking the boathouse? Cause I'm fucking ready.
Evan,
All right, let's hear it.
Evan the
Yo.
samurai.
Let's fucking hear it, guys.
We love Evan.
We do love
We
Evan.
love the boathouse.
Okay, we'll keep Evan out of this, and then we'll keep
Yeah,
it on.
no. So I love the boathouse too. I love going down there for beers.
Doesn't
I
sound
went
like it.
I went on Friday, and they've changed up their menu since last year.
Uh-oh.
And I grabbed something called like the Smokehouse Pizza or something, and it was like had a little shaved jalapeno on top and
Nice.
habanero, and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Yum.
Sounds hot.
Spicy.
But how did it taste?
Well, I went. It sounds hot, right?
Yeah.
But not too hot. Just
can
hot.
handle
Like
it,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll sip on my beer. I'll be okay. No. This
was
was
hot.
the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my damn life. Snot was shooting out of my nose. I'm crying.
Jesus.
My girlfriend has her cup of water just resting over her mouth, just cooling off her tongue, and that was after one bite.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
And this is why you hate the Boathouse.
Well, I'm just mad right now.
Okay.
It's just I'm
The
hurt.
pizza was too damn hot to be
Oh
Stay
man.
in the
away from
selection with all the
jalapenos
other
and
pizzas.
habanero.
Like it should have been like in another section where it was like
no.
the
Yes.
order this if you're a brave, really drunk,
True.
overweight white male section, and you have
Some of
something to
those things.
prove to your coworkers section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know that section,
I know
right?
that
That's a real
Yeah, yeah.
section.
Right. Right next to it, they'll have
Disclaimer.
something like the 13-pound burger that
Yep.
costs $60,
Yep.
and you'll
Yep.
get a
And if you
free
finish it
T-shirt.
all- exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that section. It wasn't in that section. It was just with the rest of the
It's
pizzas.
a regular item, menu item.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it can't be that bad. So whatever. It just completely melted my face straight off.
So you're sweating like you're sweating right now.
Worse. Much worse.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, Jesus.
So I'm
bad.
kind of like bitching to my girlfriend about it, like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe how hot this thing is. This is ridiculous. Chugging back my beer, like just trying anything to save my ass. And there's a couple sitting behind us, and they're like, "Did you guys order the hot pizza?" And I turn around.
It's really
I
hot.
turn around, and they have an empty pizza platter, crumbs all over it, and both of their faces are just purple.
And shit in their
And
pants.
they're like, "We ordered the pizza too, but we're really broke, so we had to eat the whole thing."
Oh, that's so too bad.
Oh man. And then I'm inside, I'm paying for it, and I'm still just bitching about this thing.
Bubble,
You guys shit your pants after eating a hot pizza?
man. Ryan.
Keep going.
You shit your pants
Stop talking
recently?
about shit in pants.
Oh, hands
going.
up, guys.
What happened?
Keep going around here. Let's finish this anecdote about the pizza.
I'm inside, and I'm paying for my dinner and still bitching about this pizza. And the guy's like, "Was it really that hot?" I'm like, "Hottest thing I've ever eaten." He's like, "It's weird. It's our most popular item."
Oh my god.
And I assume I'll go back to the Boathouse in a week, and there'll just be nobody there because they've all dropped dead from eating this pizza. So yeah, that's my spiel.
So don't order the pizza.
Don't get the
Don't
pizza.
Don't get that
Don't
hot
get the
pizza.
hot pizza.
Don't get that hot
Yeah.
pizza.
That's not labeled hot.
Yeah, there wasn't even like a little chili emblem.
A little pepper to let you know.
No
it's just
asterisk, no
spicy.
red
Yeah.
asterisk,
Nothing?
nothing at all.
That's just unfair.
Was there not
That's
even an
fucking rude.
asterisk?
No, there was
That's just
nothing.
rude.
Yeah,
You know?
that's just fucking rude.
Yeah, it was so hot I felt like it was a prank.
Oh,
What if it was a prank?
Yeah, could you imagine? You left before the cameras came
Yeah,
out.
what if you
and said "Hey, surprise!" And they're like, "Oh, I guess he just
We'll never
thinks."
know.
Just ate it.
says he had a really bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they pranked two people at once just in case.
Oh
but
man.
yeah,
You're on
just
some
ate it.
YouTube channel somewhere.
yeah.
Well, I feel way worse for the couple that was sitting behind me. Like I said, their faces were burgundy.
Nice.
Wow.
I thought you said
Yeah.
purple.
Well,
Kinda-
it's getting worse.
Kind of reminds me of this guy. Kind of reminds me of this guy I saw yesterday. I went to the Raptors parade in Toronto, and it was completely condensed. And I just saw this. Yeah, yesterday at the Raptors parade at what's it called, Nathan Phillips Square.
Yeah.
And I was walking by, and there was just this ghoul like that. Just I passed by. He was like this dude that was sitting there with when people have
Shit his pants look.
yeah, that shit his pants look, but his eyes were his eye pupils were like silver, and he had like a gray shag, and he kind of just had this dead stare, and his lips and his skin were like pale and like purple, like when someone's lips are like purple,
Yeah.
like when
God.
they're dead, yeah, the guy was literally just looking out like,
I don't know why I'm here.
and I was pretty freaked out.
Monday.
Wait, was he
Like
standing there?
Yeah, he was just standing there.
But he was dead.
Did he have an umbrella?
I have no
Wedged
idea.
up in the crowd?
No, I've never seen someone look so pale and
you
Oh,
offer
you'll
him
see
some
that
water?
And
shit.
dead.
Yeah.
You'll see that downtown Toronto for sure.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah, I guess. He's like, "Are you here for the championships?" He's like, "What do you mean?"
What?
I don't even know where I am.
I'm just here
funny.
to haunt the souls of downtown Toronto.
Midday.
Midday, yeah, in the beating hot sun while he's
Yeah.
wearing a long sleeve gray
It's the witching
t-shirt.
hour.
Bless him.
Hey, I saw
Yeah.
that in your studio you have some guitars that are made out of gas cans.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like jerry cans?
No.
No, they're
old
like
oil
vintage,
cans.
oil cans.
Oh.
Like a tin.
Yeah.
Oh, no
So
way. Cool.
there's a company started in South Africa, moved to California. They're called Bohemian Guitars. So we were the only people in Canada selling Bohemian Guitars for a while, and we haven't ordered any in a long time. But we still have one that kicks around, just like, I don't know. It was the one they gave to us out of just like a partnership, like the demo, before we started selling. So it was cool. We might get back into that again, but it was they're very cool. We sold a bunch of them around Cambridge and KW. One guy even performed at the Boathouse with us one night, and there was we we haven't ordered them in a bit, but they're very cool. They're very cool.
Yeah, I was just watching like some quick little. It looked like a college project interview with you,
Oh man,
and
there were a few of those.
it was remarkably uninteresting. But then I just saw the two
Burn
guitars in the background. No, it was not. It was nothing on your part at all. But I just saw the two guitars sitting in the back. I'm like, hell yeah! I'm gonna just
man.
look at these for 10 minutes and pause this video.
They're cool. They're okay.
I hope you take no offense by that.
They really are. They really are.
You don't
cool.
need a guitar
They're
stand.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even really need to play it. They just kind of look cool.
What do
They
they
do
sound
kinda
like? They
look
got like a
cool.
really interesting
sound like-
tone to them.
They kind of normal. And they sound like a. They don't sound like some amazing high-end guitar. No, they're just kind
Sound
of
like a tin can.
It sounds
No,
like it's
not
made out
really.
of an oil can. Yeah.
okay. They do sound. They do sound.
How much oil can tone is on the
Oh
new
man.
record?
Well,
They're
they sound.
actually filled with gas
they
and oil,
sound,
so
uh,
you can't get them too hot.
Would you say they're a little
Otherwise,
No.
they'll
tinny
just explode.
sounding?
They sound all right. They're pretty novice in their quality,
Mhm.
but then
Same.
they're cool. They're pretty cool with like slide guitar. They sound all right with that.
Cool.
They actually Epiphone makes like their neck. So like there's I don't know. So they feel very like normal, but they're nothing crazy high end.
Cool.
No.
Yeah, it was.
Novelty.
The video was
They're
like
so
kind of
cool.
low quality, so I was like trying to make out if it was like a gas can kind of rig, or Patrick had suggested. What did you call the guitar? A diddly bow.
Diddly
It
bow.
was a diddly bow
diddly bow.
guitar.
Diddly bow.
That's a fun name.
I think
It
that's a
is a
good
fun
model
name.
name.
Diddly bow guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
The PK
Kinda look
signature
like Tish
diddly
Bow.
bow.
Don Peterson.
Mark it as the diddly bow.
Diddly bow.
I would buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
like a little
Cool.
cigar box.
Little diddly bow. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys ever heard of the gent stick?
Yeah,
The
that
gent stick?
That freaking yeah. Thing is,
That's what that
I,
reminds me.
I need to see that.
I was like,
What-
while we're on
what is
Google.
it?
like it's just like a stick with a pickup with one string, and then the guy just plays like genty
Gent.
riffs on.
Oh,
it.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Or the
Jared
gent
Dines.
shovel. Yeah.
No, I think it's like Rob Scallon or
Gent
something.
shovel.
Scallions.
Oh no, there's that guy. Yeah, it's
That's
that.
so
It's
funny.
There he
that,
is. Yeah, that's it.
that dude.
That's the one.
Hey.
Wow.
That's the gent. There it is.
Wow.
The gent stick.
The
Thank you,
gent
Adam.
Stick.
I assume that's
like
the
3
instrument
strings
monuments used to
all
write all
kinda,
their.
like, drop
Basically,
Is that Bill Gates?
monuments.
Playing
Only the gent stick.
He like jumps over that chair. He jumped over that chair behind him and put it on.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Love it.
Is it tuned to drop A?
It's tuned to drop Q.
Oh, okay.
So this is why we brought Cam into the band, because he's just full of
Loves
musical
metal.
ideas like this. The gent stick.
Boy,
Stay
how can we
tuned.
incorporate the gent stick?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, whenever we get an order of instruments in the studio, I will test if they gent.
Nice.
That's fair. That's
The
fair.
Baileys, they all gent.
It'll be a gentle transition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Grant.
Grant.
All right.
Oh,
all right.
Grant.
Pun master
Sorry.
of the group.
I'm sorry.
So this is actually Grant's last thing with the band.
Yeah.
So yeah, Grant's on his way out.
This is becoming a 3.
They were like 100th pun, you're out.
Yeah.
I hope that
More like
pilot
1,000.
project record's really taken off.
Oh.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Oh. No, you two. You go too.
You talk to him after this about that.
Why, you guys have a couple words for him?
Oh yes.
No, I'm in that
Fuck it,
band
let's do
too.
the.
He's in that band too.
Let's turn
yeah.
this into the band therapy podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Where it all
Dr.
comes
Chert.
out here on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll just dress like Dr. Phil. I'll just shave my head.
Yeah, shave your head and get
It'll be worth it.
a thick mustache. Get a Texas
I'm gonna use the
accent.
washroom. So,
Okay.
Go for it.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna go ahead and do that.
Love you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries.
You need the key?
No. I'm just gonna
Cool,
go
if that's
outside.
okay. Well, you know,
Delicious.
Cool,
Cam,
man.
tell them a story.
Tell a story about. No, tell a
Damn.
story. Jeez, about what?
Give us a
Well-
story.
I got jokes. Grant has a story. What do you got?
Well, I have a question actually. So
Yeah.
this green sheet, how often do you get asked about it?
Green
Probably every
sheet?
time.
What
We have
green
no idea what
sheet?
you're talking about. This is a brick wall with a neon sign on
That's
it.
exactly what it is.
Okay.
What are you?
So-
That neon sign was
What's gonna
expensive.
be going on here?
It's
If
a
you
brick
turn
wall.
You
around,
can look behind you.
you'll see it.
Whoa!
Ta-da.
That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
No like
We
no like Godzillas.
So
anything like
when
that?
we
used to have
first
some
started
animations.
out, we were kind of fucking around with stupid shit. So
we did Seinfeld at one point where they're all like looking at the couch in the living room, like Jerry.
But we
Elaine,
were
and
on the
Kramer.
couch.
Yeah,
Oh, I
like
like
we
that.
placed it where like we were in front of the couch.
Well, I'm sorry for blowing your cover.
no, that's
bad.
quite
Good.
all right.
It's all
I'm
good.
sure it's blatantly obvious.
Now is
Yeah.
this original brick or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's actually it's a California style.
Alright.
What does that
that's all.
mean?
I don't know. I just
I
know.
like it, dude.
Yeah.
Free range grout.
Free range, organic,
Nice.
vegan,
Yeah,
gluten free,
exactly.
I like the texture.
raw.
Yes.
Yep.
We assembled it
quite
kind of
nice.
like a bird mother feeds her young. We
Oh.
shoot up cement dust and then spit it into the bricks. And
I thought that's how they do all the brick buildings. Have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
All right.
Oh!
See you
Ryan has
fucking
knocked
later,
over the
dude.
fan.
Get out of here, man.
Eric,
Jesus Christ.
so it's getting pretty hot in here.
Sure is.
When your fellow bandmates get back, do you guys have anything you want to touch on before we melt and die?
Don't ask that question.
I don't know. Juicy gossip.
What do you guys want to touch on?
You know what? I
Juicy
actually want to
Jones.
ask something before these guys get back. So,
Yeah.
Eric was saying that, with the songwriting kind of thing, it's, it all starts with a groove. That's a pretty, I don't want to say it's general, but it's pretty oriented towards like a bass and drums kind of point of inspiration. So, like, when you say it starts with it, does it always start off with just like a groove, or is it more of like a melody, or I don't know?
I think Grant should field
Yeah,
this one.
that's a very good question. Yeah, like we haven't had a whole lot of time writing as a 4-piece yet, like actually from square one. So this is going to be kind of like a new experience for us, kind of figuring out where everything fits when we're starting with nothing written, right? But a lot, like it depends on the song too. Like there are things where Eric will be like, "Oh, I wrote this little riff thing," and then it's like, "What can we do with that?" But then there's definitely times where it's like, Ryan will throw down a beat or I'll throw down a bass line and we'll kind of build on it. It's not like everyone's going to start perfectly playing in key at the exact same time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But it tends to kind of build, and like I imagine, in the future we'll have songs where it's like, oh, this is a key driven tune, the melody is more so on a different instrument. But there's no cookie cutter kind of formula that we've followed. It just kind of happens, over time. We've had a little, like, Wild One, we were definitely intentional about the writing process a little more than we normally were. Like, instead of just being like, let's jam, we were like, let's jam with an intention of a sound or, like,
A message or something.
yeah,
or
or like,
vibe.
a song that we want to feel to, like, we want to write something that's relatable and, up, and like has a different energy to it that's something else. So that one was an introduction to like taking a different approach to our writing, for sure. But yeah, it's really not like any one way that we write. Like it kind of depends, and
it kind of just varies basically wherever you get the inspiration from. You'll kind of just know where like to pull from it.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings me to kind of after that, when you guys are in like the writing process and you guys are kind of in the swing of things, and then you guys hit that one part where it's like, oh, I don't know what, like, it just doesn't sound good, like this part coming after this part, like something's not sitting, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the drums, I don't know if it's the the bass or the vocals. Have you guys ever come into some like serious ruts where like it was just like everyone was like, I just don't know how to figure this out?
Oh, that's a big boy there.
I guess, like, I'm sure there's been different opinions at times where we have to kind of like figure it out, and sometimes being in a band is about like compromise, right? Like sometimes you have to kind of find a middle ground with certain things, right? So
Definitely.
so we run into those we've run into those like situations where it's like, oh, maybe this, like, maybe for instance, like, I'll use bass and drums for an example. Maybe the bass has a part and then the drums has a part, and you realize that those two parts can't really mesh. They don't land on the same beats or whatever, and someone has to kind of bend, and change. So we have those situations and we work our way through them, But yeah, it's not like it's all everything happens like right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. There's some ruts you hit, and there's some middle ground you find. I'm sure
For
there's
sure.
like those moments where like 75% of you are like, no, that sounds good, and then like maybe one core of you is like, nah,
Yeah.
and then you're like kind of just stewing on it, but then you like play it live a couple times, and then you're just like, okay, now I get
sure.
like the inception of like why this
Yeah.
is so accepted by everybody else, and why kind of take a step back and reflect on like, you know, maybe why you thought differently, and then it kind of helps you adapt to like the next writing process or like the next jam or like whatever that is.
For sure.
It's I can't speak to the older stuff, but with Wild One, the writing process got really interesting, and it's cool because occasionally you'll find times where just stuff like someone throws something out and it just works, and you just kind of run with it. And I feel like Wild One really went in that direction. I hope I'm not speaking just for myself here.
For sure.
Yeah.
I thought it went super smooth. Like when we were in at Skytrack, tracking stuff, it was just one instrument after another and a handful of takes.
That's
And
awesome.
it's like,
Yeah.
that's the vibe we want.
Super
Like,
smooth.
let's polish this or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're going for. And it really came together quickly, I thought. It's always cool when that sort of happens.
No notable ruts, like any parts where it was just like, oh, I don't know what to do after this, or I can.
Nothing.
No, like
That's awesome.
there were some detail things that was like, what do we want to do here? But no, I wouldn't say there was anything that was a rut.
No.
At least not on my end.
That's
And,
awesome.
Like,
We and
Yeah.
even sorry, you go.
you go, Reggae.
In that song, there's like it's not a tempo change, but it's like a double time. And when we rehearsed it, we never rehearsed to a click or anything. We just kind of play it as it goes. And when we wrote that part, it just had like a natural kind of. We didn't quite play it at double time, or I didn't. Like I'm driving that force forward. But if you listen to the song, there's like a kind of a bridge part that's like kind of a banger
So much
section.
fun.
It's
so
a lot
much
of fun.
It's fun.
But when we went to recording it, we decided like we'll keep the tempo the same. We'll just double time that part, which ended up being pretty fast for what I expected.
Yeah.
So I was used to rehearsing it at just kind of my tempo, and it wasn't quite double time. It was just felt like the fast part. You know what I mean?
Not quite my
But then when we it's not quite my tempo.
That's right. Throw a chair.
Yeah.
But then it took a couple tries, but then we realized, okay, this really drives when we play it here. Just
Yeah.
the double time exact tempo.
Yeah.
And then we laid it down and
It was
felt
good.
it felt so good.
Yeah, and even in writing the tune, like we wrote it. It was so interesting. We were like, hey, let's write something that's going to be great for summer, and like just have some fun with it. Like maybe something that's we thought of our song Yeats, but like just taking that to another level. But so it was like, well, we sit down and it's just the three of us at the time, and we're like, if that's the case, we need something that's about the feel. So Ryan, you start this. Give us something that's just like pretty solid. And Ryan just starts doing it. Grant and I legitimately looked at each other and said, "Hey, what key do we not usually play in?" And like we were like, "We don't really play in the key of D." so then I was like, "Well, let's do something in drop D. We'd never do that." So drop down, and then Grant and I just started playing with Ryan, like and first thing we started doing just off the floor was like we started looking at each other like, well, there's the song. That was nothing. Like there was no cycling back and being like, let's not do that and let's try this instead. It was just cool. It was all pretty immediate, and the lyrics, they even came like it was the like 8 hours before recording the song. It was just like, all right, I guess I better write the lyrics. And then it was like, well, this just makes sense. These lyrics just work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool how just shifting a key can like completely change
Kick stuff off.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like I find if I've been sitting in one key for weeks and weeks or months and months or whatever, and I switch to something, instantly I'm just noodling out like really cool ideas that are fun for me to play and easy to build off of because it's not so like stale. It's not what you're used to.
It's a
I
framework
guess.
your brain's used to, but it's at a different like kind of. It's like with a different color, I guess.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just like your brain already kind of knows what it's doing subconsciously, but you kind of have to like figure out like the lines you can color inside, and then you're
Sure.
like, oh, okay, cool. And you're like, it's so much easier to explore, but there is still so much to explore. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's true.
Well, dope, fellas.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to hit before we all melt into the ground?
Yeah.
This couch is swallowing me whole.
Got that couch for $20.
I was thinking
Nice.
if we have the technology, if anybody is listening, we could play the song, the Wild One single. see if any of our friends get to hear it
Oh man,
before
pre-release.
it's released on Monday.
Yeah, we
An
can do that if you guys
exclusive.
want.
I don't know.
Is
I
our
don't know if you guys
It's on
do that.
SoundCloud.
yeah
You
is,
could probably pull
is
it
our
off.
Instagram hooked up? Because they sent us a link to. Do
Oh,
you guys know if it's
access, you
hooked up?
can't access DMs on
Oh,
web
garbage.
Instagram because Instagram web.
We don't
browser
have
is
to.
garbage.
No.
Just
But
an
we know we
idea.
will do.
Because I
Ah.
put it on my
You can't- you
Instagram.
don't
Like,
know
yeah,
what's-
we're gonna play.
I'm
this
just gonna
fucking
text it
song
to Adam.
tonight. We're gonna tease it a
Well,
little
hold on.
bit.
Patrick seems to be on it here.
Cool.
Patrick's onto something over there.
Trust me, it's
I think.
I see
why not?
gears
Danger
turning.
like radio.
these
That'd
aren't
be
good
great.
gears. These aren't
you gonna-
good gears.
Put the whole link in the drive.
Yeah, sure. Do that.
And I guess that said, this Monday,
Wow.
June 24th, the song comes out on
Oh,
all,
it
It's this Monday.
You're
on
trying to
all
find out,
major
guys.
online
What?
platforms.
All the platforms.
What was
What?
that?
Yeah.
the,
So
the crickets.
like we said, Cam has
is Cam.
impeccable vocal control, so he can do
You
shit
know
like
how to do
this.
any other like cool? I don't
Give
mean
us
to
an
put you on the spot.
elephant.
Yeah.
That's all I
Give
got.
us,
Back to
give us
crickets.
Peter Griffin.
What do you want me to say?
I don't care, man.
Say this couch is swallowing me.
This couch is swallowing me whole, Lois.
Oh man, Cam.
All right.
When you're doing the
Now do
cricket
Jack
kills
Nicholson.
me,
Many talented
because Adam's
Cam.
just listening and he turns around and he's like, "What the fuck is that?"
He's looking at the ground. He's like
cricket
pointing.
in
He's
the
like,
studio.
Adam, I'm so sorry.
Quite all right. We do get crickets in here.
Are you guys gonna be able to work this out?
Yes.
Okay.
I hear
This is
sound.
exciting. Man,
Noise
we're
sounds.
excited about this song.
Let's
I'm excited for you guys.
Audio on a.
Ape Audio gets
It's
the
a
first
Tuesday.
It is
Yeah.
Tuesday.
On a Tuesday
What
night.
year is
Turn
it?
up on a Tuesday.
Man.
I'll have a beer.
Are you thirsty?
Okay, well, while they're queuing that, we have an idea
Okay.
that is like the song is kind of it changes every verse, and the whole idea is like chasing something crazy, and for us that's music. Like so it's the thought of, hey, let's push for music, even though it's this crazy thing out there. Then the second verse is about, okay, we're doing this. Maybe that means that we're actually insane. Like we're actually insane. and then the third verse is about just like engaging everyone as the wild ones, the people who are crazing. Yeah, people who are chasing what they love and chasing something that's probably crazy, for whatever reason. So we actually are like soon going to launch a social media campaign that's all about trying to hear people's stories of how they are wild ones, because eventually we want people to sing with us on that.
That's right.
Play the link. Is it gonna go through the?
Yeah, it'll go through. It'll go through.
Is it playing right now?
That's really cool.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Kinda neat.
Yeah, so we think if we can engage individuals and people who already know our band, and we've already kind of marketed Yestermind with our single, our main single from that, Yeats,
Yeah.
was kind of I Got Love. That was like the message we wanted to push with that album was just, you know, being kind to one another, being on the same playing field as everyone else, and just
Got love.
accepting everyone.
I think that will be received so well. There's this artist out. Where's the Dope Chief from? Guelph?
Hamilton.
Hamilton?
The hammer.
He's like an
and
artist. Yeah.
this visual artist out there, and he ran this social media campaign where it was like you can submit your deepest, darkest secrets, and he would like illustrate them for you.
Cool.
And it was like, okay, yeah, obviously, like some people are gonna toss their shit to him. He got like thousands upon thousands of messages to the point where he's like completely backlogged now, and just is like,
So cool.
I don't know if I can stay caught up, but I'm gonna do my best
My
at
best.
this.
That's
And it's
very
just like
cool.
he has his artwork, but then he has like this really neat little soulful kind of passion project that he can
That's
sort
cool.
of fall back on.
That's super cool.
I think people like respond to that kind of stuff
I think
super
so.
well.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, we're a rock band and we want to write catchy music, but at the end of the day, we want people to like our music.
Hell
so
yeah.
if we can come up with a line or something that sticks, like a hook, in our old album and Wild One, then we're going to roll with it because we think that everyone can kind of engage with it.
Sure.
Yeah, social media is so important. Although, like, we all have differing opinions on using social media, it's still such a tool for these bands that are just trying to break out.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's such a useful tool. It's like we have
You
the
gotta
tool
use
now
it,
more than
right?
ever to use. It's free marketing. Like
Exactly.
You gotta use
it's
it.
It's a free platform to
it's
reach.
like a learning curve, and it's something that like
For sure.
in the old days you'd like you'd pay somebody to do
Yeah.
it, to contact the radio stations, to go book the shows and all this, and now you can like contact the Spotify playlisters, and you can do all that stuff yourself. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay anybody to do that. Well, I mean, there's obviously some
You can do it over coffee
know,
now. in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's such a
It's
cool
huge.
thing that where the musician can be like the manager and like the booking agent and like all
right.
that kind of stuff. And it is a bit of effort, but
Right.
that's like, because you know how, they say like, if you're having fun doing something, it doesn't really feel like work.
Right.
Well, like
Lie.
I would consider this to be like the work that
Yeah.
you would put in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
the
For
work.
sure.
It's like, oh, this is like the.
For a band,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Some people
yeah.
like it, and some people
Especially-
are like, okay, I guess I'll, like make a post or whatever and
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Like some people dread it, and some people are like, I'll make 10 a day. I don't give a fuck. But
As an independent musician in this day and age, you have to. Thank you, Ryan. As an independent musician in this day and age, you have to wear many hats.
yeah,
And
so
only
true.
one of those is the musician hat.
Yeah.
The rest of it's a marketing agent,
Yeah.
a booking agent, everything in between.
And it's not to say the music isn't the last thing, because obviously we'd be nowhere. We wouldn't have anything
Exactly.
to latch on without it. But it is the very foundation. But yeah, there comes with so many hats you got to wear and so many like. I don't want to say personalities, but it's definitely like, you got to realize like who is above and who's like not in like a hierarchy way, but it's like, okay, who can give you like an opportunity and who can you give an opportunity to,
Yeah,
kind
business.
of
all
like
about
thing.
connections, right?
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
business.
Definitely.
all of that to say, we're thinking about angling towards a social media. I don't want to say marketing, but a movement
Cool.
where everyone is
Involved.
share how you're a wild one. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Are you a
Someone is
wild
calling
one?
me right now. My pocket
How am
is
I a wild
Yeah,
one?
let's hear these quick. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing that's setting yourself out for the masses?
I wake up
see
with
that?
clean folded laundry beside me. I sometimes forget to put it in my drawer, and it's like still folded up beside me. And sometimes I'll just wake up and I'll just like lift up my sheet, just like sleep beside it, wake up, and
that's
it's like
wild.
all
You are
refolded. I'm like,
psychotic.
That's wild.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is-
that's not wild.
you
That's
are-
just I'm probably
That's
just a
wild.
serial killer.
That's fucked. Edit that out later.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay, you're up.
I do my dishes immediately after dinner.
Oh my
Whoa,
god.
that's wild.
Yeah, that's wild.
You guys are essentially mocking our entire marketing
Yeah,
campaign.
it's true.
This shit is not wild, man. Have you ever gone on vacation? Have you gone on like an all-inclusive
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
so-
if you want,
That'd be
okay, you
more
mean
wild than
like
fucking
wild,
folding
wild,
your
okay.
laundry.
Or what have you done that's just crazy?
Okay, if
Crazy?
you want me to like actually say it,
Yeah.
so like
Say it.
The wildest thing you've ever done.
I can do one. Well, I'm not gonna give you that because that's
give me the
I'll
most-
get arrested for sure.
All right, the most
Okay.
publicly digestible.
Okay,
Wild thing
so
you've
I'll
done.
do one that's applicable to all three of us. So we started up this weirdo fucking podcast that is trying
Yeah.
to support local
Yeah, man.
artists.
Fair enough.
There we
And
go.
we
Dude.
decided to do it live for some goddamn reason.
They
so
tell you.
It's perfect, man.
we're just on the record immediately, and
That's
there's
awesome.
part of that
That's
that's
it.
horrifying, but part of it is wild, and part of it is extremely fun. And
That's
Pre-record-
it, man. That's what we're
pre-recording is
shooting
worse.
for. Like,
Yeah, pre-recording was a nightmare actually
Yeah.
compared to doing it live. It was
Yeah,
strange.
live is more natural and more comfortable.
yeah, because
I
it's
think
just
that's 'cause
like
we're used to
go.
it, yeah.
Where
It's
when
good to
you're
hang out.
pre-recording, it's kind of like, have we started?
Yeah.
What do we do? Blah, blah,
There's
blah.
always
Like,
that pressure to just keep going and be on, whereas when
Ni-
it's pre-recorded, you're like,
Oh.
oh, we can just like flip the switch, and then sometimes you get lost in flipping it off, and you're just like,
Right.
I couldn't
Right.
flip it off. I was just saying bullshit the entire time.
I've been saying bullshit this whole
Um,
time. It's all right.
But
Not like
I
the
guess
bullshit we say.
my wild,
It's
the wildness in me comes from I performed intercourse on top of a rooftop. That's my rooftop story.
Hey.
Yeah,
There you
looking
go.
out at the city.
Double applicable.
Oh, really? What building?
I won't say.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want to tarnish their.
How many
business
stories?
or
At least
improve
tell
it.
us that.
What?
How high up
How
were
high
you?
up?
It was like 3 or 4.
Oh,
So it was like, yeah.
weak.
Just
But it was on top of a hill,
baby
so
steps,
I could
baby
see
steps.
I could see a decent city horizon.
Decent view. Decent view.
I
from
did not
this
expect
lay.
that answer.
Maybe next time you'll do Mount Trashmore.
I
Nope.
prefer
Oh,
this
wow.
guy's answer, but that's still
That's
solid.
Still
that's a
wild.
All
cityscape.
right, it's all right. It's all right.
Oh man. No,
And you? What's your
What's your wildest story?
what's your
Patrick?
wildest story?
or okay. Also, just before you say something you're gonna regret, the question really was, what's your wild thing that you might be crazy, but you're chasing this thing?
That's the real.
Music, definitely. Being a musician.
So
Yeah.
you're still in a band?
Oh yeah, I'm in a band with Adam and his brother Evan.
And
Cool.
me.
Yeah.
God
And
damn
him.
it.
And Patrick.
Always the fucking forgotten one.
Sorry,
Son
Patrick,
of
you're
a
the
bitch.
new
Play.
guy.
What's your instrument? Why are you the forgotten one?
Because he's new.
I Play the same instrument this fucking guy plays.
Guitar.
Guitar.
Hey, so should we play Wild One and maybe close
I thought
the
you
door
already
before
did
it
start
gets
playing
any
it.
louder in here with the
Yeah.
other?
What
I mean, that's the
bands
house
jamming?
band, dude. Appreciate them.
I thought that was like.
Should we drop the mics down while we play the tune?
Yeah. So Adam, you just hit the just play and then hit the mute icons on all the.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoy Wild One.
Yeah. Or we can.
Thanks, guys.
Are we
Thanks
gonna
for
go out after
doing
this?
that.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Wild One comes out June 24th, Monday.
Monday.
Check that shit
High
out. These guys are Shy Harry. Where can people find you?
All over.
Cambridge.
Gold. Social media.
Oh, literally
Social
just drive
media.
to Cambridge and start yelling their name.
Where's Shy Harry?
Just go to Ebolt Music. You'll find Eric.
Yeah, I'll be
Long
there.
golden
Sorry for yelling in
locks.
your
There
ear.
all the time.
I'll link their social media and stuff in the show description if you guys want to check it out. So thanks for coming out, guys.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
for
us.
having
us.
Man, guys.
This is
so
fun.
guys.
Bye.
See y'all laters.
It's my first podcast.
Hey. Here we go.
My very first podcast.
Unspoken that no one asked you to say. Anyway, red eyes stepping into light, white lines held them through the night. Boom, the dreams of the tired man, the colors of life, man. Oh, that just may be wild. It just may be, and it's wild. Wild. It just may be, and it's wild. Wild ones who gathered here today. I hope we're right, 'cause we've thrown it all away. Wow, I can see it, a dream so very real, so real to feel. But I just may be wild. I just